motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread. That's for damn sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now. If you think about my cornbread, get the taste out your mouth. That's for damn sure. Now fuck him, fuck that, because I'm from New York City, goddammit. Nobody take no cornbread from me. That goes for you and any other you motherfucking farmers wanna try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
What's good? What it do, y'all?
Haters gonna hate.
Boy Trey, Fraser, Maestro Styles, in the building, y'all.
Yes, sir.
What's poppin'? Welcome to another episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Make sure you guys follow us on our Facebook page. Click the like button there. Also, you can follow us on our Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. And you can follow us on our YouTube channel also. Just hit the subscribe button there. Speaking of which, I want to welcome all of our YouTube viewers as we are on YouTube Live right now. And also our Facebook users as we are on Facebook Live right now as well. And also we're live on Twitch right now. Maestro Styles, what's good, man? What's going on?
What's going on, man? What's going on with you?
Another week, man. Another dollar. Just trying to make it out of $1.15, you know what I mean?
Get a whole dollar in the week, my nigga?
Just trying to make some kind of bread. Something. Something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Much the same, bruh. Working, never there, never down.
No doubt. Just quickly, man, just want to make sure I get this out of the way. I found out about this yesterday, and I saw you tweeted as well. Just want to send love and condolences to the family of former NFL wide receiver Vincent Jackson,
For sure.
who was found dead. And was it his home? I don't remember what.
No, it was in a hotel, close to Tampa, Monday morning.
Okay.
Yeah,
man, that's tragic.
They haven't really released many details about who, how it happened. I mean, they haven't been able to tell if it was natural causes or what it was for that matter. But, regardless of whatever information comes out, for certain, rest in peace to Vincent Jackson, 38 years old, good, pretty good, young, man. Pretty good, way too young, first of all, before we even talk about some accolades. But I mean, promising, had a good career in the NFL.
Solid career.
Yeah, had a good career, San Diego and Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any kind of Vincent Jackson moments that you remember?
I would love to sit here and fake with you like I got a Vincent Jackson moment for you. I don't. But one thing, I mean, obviously he's been, for the majority of his career, really all of his career, hell of a deep threat, hell of a red zone target.
Yep.
I wish, that's what I always remember him for. I would love to see him pretend like, he was, as far as in the NFL, for all intents and purposes, to us, the consumer, he was, pretty quiet, just came in, did his thing, and went home,
Right.
That's how I remember him, as just being that deep threat, being that red zone target, consistently, specifically, well, I can't even specifically, both with San Diego and Tampa Bay, he was a pretty high up there as far as where you rated him as a deep threat, just a consistent cat on the field. For certain, condolences to his family.
So I have one Vincent Jackson highlight, and really it goes against you know, anything that I, you know, as far as my team is concerned. But he had one highlight that I remember when the Ravens was playing the Chargers. And for real, we won that game. It's funny. We won that game. I remember it was the same game where Ray Lewis stopped Darren Sproles, you know, right up the middle to end the game.
Mm-hmm.
And Vincent Jackson had like 3 guys on him going deep, and he scored on us. But it was so amazing how 3 of our DBs was covering this guy. They was all running with him, and Vincent Jackson still made a play to catch the touchdown. And I'm like, man, this dude is just this damn good. Like, I mean, this had to be like his 5th or 6th season in the league at that point. So yeah, a solid career on his part, man. Really consistent, deep threat, and you know, condolences to his family once again, and all his loved ones too.
For sure.
So I got a question, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you about this before we got started here, but I want to get your opinion about Houston.
By the way, you don't have to apologize for that.
No problem. So, Houston sports, right? H-Town. Give me your, and let me back up a little bit. So, going back to the Texans, this Texans season that just ended, the Rockets season that just ended before they traded Westbrook and before Harden got traded, and the Astros, you know, season that just ended, you know, them cheating bastards over there. Give me your top 5, and really, I'm not sure if it's a top 5 or not, but give me your 5 Houston sports stars before, you know, all these team seasons ended.
Houston.
Yeah. And it's not so much in terms of production per se, but just like stars, just like star power, regardless of whether they're in their prime, whether they're past their prime, or whether they're really good and they're just now approaching their prime.
JJ Watt,
Mm-hmm.
James Harden,
Mm-hmm.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Okay. I didn't think you'd go there, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 more, and this is off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
2 more. I don't want to drag, just for the sake of Andre Johnson.
Okay, that's a good one.
I don't know if he's a good one. I'm just off. I'm just thinking, when I think Houston, who do I think about?
Mm-hmm.
One more. Charles Barkley. I don't really like that. I'm just thinking, when I think Houston,
I don't like that either.
I'm just thinking, when I think Houston, who do I think about?
Okay.
And I know he was more known for a Phoenix run, obviously.
I was gonna say he's Phoenix and Philly for that matter.
Yeah.
I think he's more, you know, recognized in Philly than he is in Houston.
Well, I remember him getting into it with Shaq as a Houston Rocket. You know, probably But for me, without really thinking about it, I ain't want to stretch the conversation too long.
Sure.
Those would be my 5. I go with that: J.J. Watt, James Harden, Hakeem Olajuwon, Andre Johnson, Charles Barkley.
Okay, I like what you did there, because you sort of went like in the history of Houston sports, and I kind of meant to clarify that I was referring to all 3 of the teams from last
year.
From last year. So
all right, allow me to readjust the list then.
Okay.
J.J. Watt still, James Harden, P.J. Tucker, did I say Russell Westbrook yet?
You didn't say
Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
And one more. One more. Deshaun Watson.
I was waiting for you to say that. I was like,
Deshaun
man,
Watson.
is this difficult? But okay. So when I did this list, I came up with the same list except for one guy, and of course I came up with J.J. Watt. I came up with James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Deshaun Watson, and you said P.J. Tucker.
PJ Tucker.
You said PJ Tucker. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily go there. I was gonna say Jose Altuve with the Astros, and
Which would probably been a better one, but I don't really watch baseball like that.
Sure, of course. But I got to get an Astros once, and since they won the chip, even though they cheated to get the chip, but that's to me that's their best guy, so I will put him in the top 5.
I would agree with you.
The point I'm trying to get to with this conversation is that all these stars from Houston, these sports stars from Houston, Harden's not there no more. He's in Brooklyn. Westbrook's in DC. J.J. Watt just got cut, and this is sort of kind of leading into J.J. Watt conversation. Deshaun Watson might get traded at some point this offseason. Who knows about that? And, I mean, there's a bunch of others that have left Houston. They probably weren't stars, but they were some of the best players. Like, I'll go Astros here for a minute. Garrett Cole was one of their best pitchers. He's now with the Yankees. George Springer was one of their best players in the lineup. He's now in Toronto, I think. And I mean, when you look elsewhere, it's like the faces of Houston sports from last year's teams are now gone elsewhere, and J.J. Watt is the latest to depart from Houston. What did you think about the cut when it happened?
Not surprised. Look, they letting him down. If there's somebody to be let down in this whole thing as a Texan outside of the fans, it's J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt is, a Hall of Fame defensive player for all intents and purposes. Before Deshaun Watson came in, was the guy, as a Houston Texan, was the guy. I mean, and let some fans say it. I guess arguably it could still be the guy in their eyes, at least before he was let go. So,
right.
If anybody deserves an opportunity to compete in the playoffs, a Super Bowl, those types of things, it's J.J. Watt. I mean, he's been a defensive player of the year, all-pro, all the accolades that you would want for a defensive player, and he hasn't been the problem, and he hasn't been the problem. I mean, sure, you could go to injuries and all those types of things, but the front office, in short, is letting him down more than anybody.
Yeah, I think that front office is letting the entire franchise down, if you ask me. So they also had a vice president or one of the general managers say, I'm stepping down. Like, I don't like what's, going on here right now.
Yeah.
And you can tie everything to going back when they traded DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals because of the whole baby mama comment that Bill O'Brien made.
Yeah.
You can go back to the Bill O'Brien moves that he made to kind of disrupt their cap situation, and also trading away, first round picks that are, pretty valuable. Now I understand they got Laramie Tunsil in the deal, but I mean, they basically took a big swing, and now they don't have any first round picks, at least this year and next year.
Right.
And then, you sort of combine that with the whole Deshaun Watson thing, where ownership told them, hey, we're going to keep you informed on some of the moves that we're making. And then yet they go out and they hire a GM that was from New England, I think. And then they hire a head coach, and I give props to David Culley former, member of the Ravens coaching staff, black man, by the way. But they stripping the team down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see no black coach, come into a situation and then the team is stripping down the team of, stars. Like, I don't want to see that for him.
You think they brought in the black coach to try to appease Deshaun Watson?
It does look like that, right? Like the optics tell you that, hey, we got you a brother here.
Maybe you stay with us.
Because the whole talk was he wanted Eric Bieniemy, or at least they wanted them to interview Eric Bieniemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they never gave him an interview.
Then I also saw an article saying that his top, if he was to go, he wanted to go to the Jets.
Right, where Robert Saleh is right now.
Right. Oh, and then specifically he picked the Jets over the Dolphins, which is kind of weird too, because the Dolphins was his second choice.
Yep.
So I mean, why not Brian Flores? Why the 49ers defensive coordinator over Brian Flores? Mm-hmm. And over a roster for all intents and purposes. I mean, I get that maybe the Jets have maybe more cap space, maybe, and really, I can't really tell you that.
Mm-hmm. You're right about that. They do have more cap space.
Mm-hmm.
They do have draft picks as well. With the Dolphins, they have draft picks. And I think all the talk about if the Dolphins were ever to trade some of those assets, they would throw Tua in that same package. So Tua to them, it sounds like it's an asset for them, even though I don't think they should trade Tua. I mean, that's the guy you went to go get at, your first pick last year. Yeah. Why are you giving up on him already?
Well, but then flat out the Texans said I've also read flat out the Texans said we're not trading Deshaun Watson. So
I've heard that too, and that could just be because maybe they don't see the best deal out there, or maybe they just, and I've mentioned this a few times, they probably don't want to trade the dude within the same conference. Even though when you look around, and I've did a little bit of research, the Jets have assets, Miami has assets. I think to a certain degree, the 49ers have assets. In this case, for the Niners, it would be players, plus Garoppolo would be a part of that package, obviously. Nobody else really has the haul to get Deshaun Watson, in my opinion. So to me, it's really down to those three teams. If Deshaun Watson was to ever, get traded, if the Texans finally just said, you know what, we can't have this guy, sitting out of camp and not starting for us. So let's just do what we got to do and, make this happen. Right. I think what's going to happen is, because, in my opinion, between the Dolphins and the Jets, those two teams have the best kind of packages to get Deshaun Watson. I think they look at it and they say, okay, we want to try to go somewhere else. We want to trade you to the NFC. And if we can't get the best deal out of the NFC, then we're just going to have to, resort back to this particular conference in the AFC, whether it's Jets or Dolphins, and let's just, make this.
So you think he gone?
I think eventually he's going to get traded. Okay. I don't think they're going to pull the trigger yet, because I think they want to see who else in the NFC can come up with something maybe other than the 49ers, with a better trade deal. Mm-hmm. I think they're looking at that conference first before they even look at the Dolphins and the Jets.
Right.
So what do you think? You think he gets traded at some point?
Eventually. I mean, I don't want to rehash that whole NFC AFC thing. I don't. But yeah. I mean, I guess there's really no choice. I could see them keeping him, but you ain't really doing nothing but asking for a whole bunch of headline material for media, like when he has a bad game, or if he decides he wants to be lackluster and play like some shit because he in a contract he don't want to be in.
Or if he just decide I'm not going to play.
Or at all, right. Or at all, right. Mm-hmm. I mean, really at this stage of the game, I would say he has the leverage. I mean,
he definitely has the leverage because he has the no trade clause. That's a part of it too.
Yeah. So, I mean, at this in this situation, it's kind of like, all right, well, you kind of got to trade him because, but they've done stupid things as a front office. So I can't even say they got to trade him, and they might just keep him and try to, look, we got a black coach, dangle the black coach thing, and maybe get him somebody he like, bring in somebody that he like, receiver wise, don't got to be DeAndre Hopkins caliber, but just a vet, somebody who, who they think he close with, and they try to appease him that way. But as far as I'm concerned, he's gone in my mind. But the Texans will Texan.
You're right about that, man. Quick little story. So I'm on Instagram the other day, and a photo popped up of Timberland and Deshaun Watson sitting at the table eating breakfast and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, that's what's up, making moves and all that stuff. Earlier today, I heard on the radio that they were saying Deshaun Watson was discovered in Miami with 4 other guys. I don't know who these 4 other guys are, but the conclusion I took from that was that Timberland lives in Miami, because that was one thing I was trying to figure out, where Timberland lives. But I believe Timberland lives in Miami.
For certain, he spends most of his time there. I don't know.
It again?
I said for certain he spends most of his time there. Right.
So going back to the photo, I was thinking, all right, that's his crib in Miami. Deshaun Watson, they doing some things or whatever. So, I it's funny. I just thought I'd mention that, because everybody's talking about the Dolphins as being this possible trade partner, and it just so happens that Deshaun Watson was photoed in Miami with Timberland and these 4 other guys. I don't tie the two together. I just think Deshaun Watson was there because he likes Timberland, and maybe they got some kind of business deal going on.
Kind of like Russell Westbrook did with PG-13, bringing the sports celebrity, and the music celebrity, and that kind of thing. Maybe. Maybe. Yep. One thing people with a lot of money do is they hang together.
Of course.
So I mean that could play a role in it.
And Timberland have a lot of money.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that helped in the conversation. He putting his bid in, trying to get him to come to Miami. Maybe is all I'll say.
Hey, that's crazy. It's funny because in the same photo, they had a football card. It was a college football card of Dwayne Johnson from the U on there, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, I did see that picture. I kind of
saw it.
Yeah, okay. I didn't really pay it much mind. I didn't really pay it much mind, but I did notice that when now that you say the little card, football card.
As I was scrolling, I stopped the picture because it looked like Deshaun Watson, and I was like, wait, that's Deshaun Watson? And I had to kind of zoom in a little bit to make sure
it's wild, because I did read the caption and recognize it was Deshaun Watson, but the only thing that made me scroll back was I was trying to figure out what the Timberland, because the caption said something about The Rock in the caption, so I was trying to figure out what the fuck was Timberland doing with The Rock. So that's the only reason I scrolled back up, bro. I didn't pay that post a damn mind.
I hear you.
So we didn't talk about. We kind of breezed through the JJ Watt conversation.
I wanted to get back to that for a second. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah. Where you think he going? For all intents and purposes, they talking about the Browns. They saying I'm seeing the Browns heavy.
That's the latest thing I saw was him going to Cleveland. Before that, though, I thought there were 2 teams that I thought he could fit really well with. I think he could fit with the Buffalo Bills really well. And the second team I thought about was the Green Bay Packers. I thought that they could use a J.J. Watt, someone that could come in, still relatively rush the passer a little bit. Obviously not the same J.J. Watt, but a guy that's going to bring more leadership than he is going to bring the 20 sacks, because he's not touching 20 sacks ever again in his career at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two teams that I thought about before all the, talk about the Browns being a high possibility.
For me, man, look, I know what I said. I don't care.
You want them.
Yeah, I just need a bright light somewhere, man. Look, I'm not expecting him to do, like you said, I'm not expecting him to do no crazy numbers or nothing like that.
Yeah.
I just need a bright spot. If we can pull JJ Watt and keep Derek Watt, because for all intents and purposes, Derek Watt was on a 1-year deal. We paid him too much, and he didn't produce like how we paid him. So it's a possibility that he's going to be gone, along with the 8 or 9, maybe 10 free agents that we got coming in this year that we're not going to be able to pay. But if there was a bright spot that I could get from Ben Roethlisberger not retiring, JJ Watt, the Watt brothers, the little sandwich shop in Pittsburgh, talking about renaming it the Watson Brothers Sandwich Shop. If we could pull JJ Watt, like I would really love to be able to have that story. Even though I don't think we'd be a Super Bowl team with everything that's going to happen, I think, in this offseason. But give me a bright spot, man. Give me a bright spot. Give me something.
I mean, TJ Watt is a bright spot. I mean,
I don't mean bright spot. I don't mean bright spot meaning we don't have good players. I mean a story. Give me a story. Okay. I'm not happy about Ben Roethlisberger playing. Let me be clear about this.
Okay.
I'm not happy about. I think Ben Roethlisberger. And not to make this a Ben Roethlisberger conversation. I'm
about to make it one. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I think he's going to set us back some years. He's the worst quarterback in the division right now, and that's crazy. And I get that it's a talented pool, but
well, look, I think here's what I think is going to happen. I've been seeing this number float around on television a few times. $41.3 or $41.2 million cap hit if Ben decides, he's going to come back and he's going to play next year. Obviously that ties up, a lot of the cap. It ties up, the money and all that stuff. They could elect to just be like, yo, Ben, you going to cost this much. Like come on, man, $41 million. Like you ain't worth that anymore at this point, man.
Well, he came out and said he'd be willing to negotiate and all and take pay cuts and things of that nature. But unless you're talking about taking, I mean, I wish because this conversation, this Ben Roethlisberger taking a pay cut conversation was a hot conversation of maybe around the time we was on our little break from the podcast, and this was when this conversation was real hot. Right. And the type of pay cut that he would have to take in order for us to really benefit, and be able to sign some of these players. He ain't taking that kind of pay cut, and I don't remember the numbers, but he ain't taking that kind of pay cut. Secondly, I'm not 100% privy to how the whole cap situation works, but the 40 million number is not exactly proper. It's not the correct number. The number is more like a $19 million number, and the rest of that money is money that's already, it's accounted for, I guess. I forget how it was explained to me, but
I think it's money that if the Steelers wanted to go out and get somebody in free agency and use that money, it's money that they can't use, basically.
Yeah, but it's owed one way or the other more so. They can't get out of that money if I'm saying it or if I'm explaining it correctly. So it's more of like $19 million that they could save if he was cut or something, something that
if he was cut, yes. Yeah. If he was cut, yeah. But if he stays on, then they
would be still tied up for that 19 million. Yeah.
Get other players.
But I'll say this: we could probably keep Bud Dupree if we cut him, because
his stock is.
Well, Bud Dupree. This was Bud Dupree's. I mean, a year. We're not going to pay him $19 million a year. I don't. Yeah. No. So yeah, we'd probably be able to sign him and maybe lock up Sutton or probably not Hilton, because Hilton was one of the best slot corners in the league last year. So I don't know if we'd be able to lock him up
they might 9, put the tag but maybe on Bud Dupree.
Maybe.
If
I'd be cutting Ben Roethlisberger. Who would I tag? That's a complicated question that I don't have enough information to make a give you an answer on right now. That's a complicated answer right now. Like that's how much of cap hell we're in right now. That's a very complicated question. I mean, y'all
got a lot of free agents too.
Yeah, like literally like 9 or 10 unrestricted, and I had a list of it, and I'm not gonna look for it, but it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, and it's a lot going on with A1 players. So it's like, guys who kind of form our defense more specifically. The Villanueva is I think a restricted. For all intents and purposes, I think Juju Smith is going to be gone because his market is going to. I think his market is going to get him.
Somebody will overpay.
Yeah, I think his market is going to get him $16 million a year.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
But I'm okay with. I mean, as much as I like Juju and he's a great Pittsburgh, kind of guy, and he's fun for the antics and all that. My feelings ain't gonna be hurt if he gotta go per se. Defensively, man, I need Bud Dupree, man. I would rather keep Mike Hilton, Cam Sutton. Like, those are the guys I'm more. That defense are the people I'm more concerned about. And Ben Roethlisberger, I just wish he'd retire, man.
Yeah, hey, man. Get that Dwayne Haskins era started, man.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna go. I don't think that's gonna. I'm sure he'll be there, but I don't. He'll be a backup. But
I think he'll be there.
But no, I think he'll be on the team for certain. I don't think he'll be a starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't see it, especially if it's gonna go, if offseason is gonna go anywhere similar.
So you don't think he has a chance? Like, let's just say hypothetically Ben's not there no more, right? They decide
Mason Rudolph is going to be out. I won't hold you. Mason Rudolph is going to beat out Dwayne Haskins.
You don't think Dwayne Haskins has a shot to beat
over
out
Mason Rudolph? No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh man, I don't know about that. I know Dwayne Haskins has had his issues and stuff, but
you watched the football team game last year?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know he's had his issues. He's looked terrible in most of those games.
It is unless he's terrible. Unless he does a complete 180.
Look, man,
he's not going to be Mason Rudolph, who's been in the system for 3 years and has got starter experience and has shown some glimmer of maybe he could do something.
Hey. I'm not gonna put the whole 180 thing. I'm not just gonna throw it out the window. And I would only bank on this part of it. You come from a crummy franchise, and yes, Dan Snyder, you need to sell the team. You come from a crummy franchise to a franchise that has a culture of winning, that does things the right way. You're with one of the best coaches in the league. I would bank on that just from the standpoint, just looking at Dwayne Haskins, and I want Dwayne Haskins at some point in his career to succeed.
Sure.
That would be my hope, that you coming from a franchise that's got a bad culture to one that's culture is more civilized and more, is straight, right? That would be the hope for Dwayne Haskins.
Well, if we talking about hopes, yeah, I mean, I hope for a lot of things, my nigga. I don't think that right now. Now I'm 2021. Like, if you're talking to me about 2022 or 2023, okay, then you gotta tell me that Mason Rudolph been complete trash. But as of right now, you got a quarterback that you drafted that has been in your system, and has had some mild success in your system. Unless you see something on the practice field that blows you away, there's no reason for it. They didn't even pay him like they expected him to play. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Nah, I think they want to help him, and I respect that. I think that they planned it for the opportunity that maybe the football team did just not know what they was doing. I'm sure they want to play that and hope that they were right
most of the time.
Because that would be a gem. Because that would be a gem. Them signing him for what they signed him for, to find out that they just didn't know how to make this dude successful. And we can start him in 2022 and have a quarterback that can compete in the North. I'm sure they would love to hope that they found that gem, but that's wishful thinking. That's why you sign a guy like him, like hoping maybe
and that's why they got training camp. That's why they got off season practices.
But how is training camp going to be this off season? Like,
good point.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard for me to believe that, and obviously we talking about a wishful situation because Ben Roethlisberger is playing. But, I mean, we talking about a guy who came off a terrible career, a terrible 2 years with the football team. Terrible. Like, he was at the bottom of quarterbacks for certain. Yeah. And coming off all the strip club, which I don't put much stock into, but coming off all the strip club bullshit and all that. It
was more so not wearing the mask for me, right? You're in a place like that and you're not masked up. That was my only.
Sure,
I don't care about the dollars and the girls and the strip club and I don't care about all that.
I mean, my point, I guess, is just that it's hard for me to believe that they would give him an opportunity to start unless on the field, which I don't know if we're going to get a bunch of on the field look, unless on the field he's looking phenomenal, like Dak Prescott in the preseason phenomenal. And I don't see that happening.
Well, we'll see. You gotta congratulate your guy. Finally retired along with his brother, Maurkice Pouncey.
Yes, the Pouncey brothers. Pouncey. Congratulations, Maurkice. I'm sorry, is for certain a Hall of Famer in my book. I don't know how everybody else feel, but that's how I feel. Ride or die.
I thought about it, and I'm still not sure, but I would lean this way. I think he's closer to being a Hall of Fame than he is not being in a Hall of Fame, or not being a Hall of Famer, I should say. I think he's closer to that side of being one than he is not being one.
I mean, hell, for a majority of his career, he was. I'm confident in saying he was a top 7, top 10 center in the game.
He stabilized the position for y'all, no question. Yeah. No question about it. And how many years? 11 years?
11 years, I want to say.
11 years.
Has it been? Was it even that long?
It feels like it.
Yeah, for certain.
It certainly feels like it. But yeah, man. That's a pretty good career to have. To just be in that position for this long with the same team.
Yeah.
And all that. So
ride or die. I can't speak much about Mike Pouncey because I didn't watch the Chargers, but I watched every single fight that happens. Every single time somebody get a little too aggressive with Ben Roethlisberger, he right there fighting, doing what he gotta do, getting in that. Yeah,
That's funny because I saw a picture of Mike Pouncey in a Chargers uniform, and I don't remember him with the Chargers for some reason. I remember him mostly with Miami.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was with Miami. I remember him with the Chargers.
Yeah, I thought that's where he started out at. He started.
Yeah, he
in
started in
Miami,
Miami.
right?
Yeah. He did. I just forgot
Okay,
about it.
okay,
Yeah, he
yeah,
started in Miami.
Because it's crazy. I don't remember him with the Chargers.
Yeah, but
That's
I remember
crazy.
him with the Chargers. I forgot he was with Miami. Like when you said it, I'm like, oh yeah, he sure was.
Yep. But I don't know how many years he played, but he started after Maurkice started in the league, right?
Um, I believe they were drafted the same year, brother.
Same year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have the numbers with me, bro, and I don't care to look it up at this point.
I respect that.
Can we talk about Urban doing white people shit?
Who?
Urban Meyer.
Oh, what did he do?
The whole Chris Doyle thing.
I don't know the Chris Doyle thing.
Okay, so Chris Doyle used to be the head coach at Iowa State, college football. Several players, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the number of black players is 50. 50 black players said that Chris Doyle was saying some racist stuff in a locker room and things like that. So Iowa State did their due diligence, and they said, Chris Doyle, you were gone. They fired Chris Doyle. This happened because I think he coached the team not this past season but the previous season.
Right.
So they fired him the previous season. So he's kind of been MIA for about 9 months.
Okay.
So here comes Urban Meyer, new head coach of the Jaguars, and he decides, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and hire Chris Doyle.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I didn't recognize the guy's name, and but I did see some backlash on Twitter.
Yeah,
I did see some backlash on Twitter, and for sure. But continue.
So he hires him as this. I can't remember if it was defensive coordinator or one of the other position coaches, but everybody was like, "Yo, like you just hired a racist. You just hired a guy that was accused by 50 black college players that this dude said some racist stuff in the locker room."
And put him in the locker room with more niggas.
Not good.
And put him in the locker room with more niggas.
With more niggas that got more paper, that are grown ass men, and you think that's gonna fly well, Urban Meyer? Like, come on, like you gotta be more aware of especially in the times that we're in now. After the year we just had last year with social injustice and what
was his reasoning? What was his justification? Did he speak on it?
Urban Meyer did speak on it, and I'm gonna paraphrase a little bit, but he did say that we, quote unquote, we vetted out the hire. Like they did their research on Chris Doyle, and they still thought that this was a good idea to hire this guy. After 9 months, this was 9 months ago that all this happened. So you claiming you did the research on the guy, and you still decided, okay, this is fine. And
what
then
research?
He comes out.
Obviously you don't know. I'm sorry to cut you off. What research did he do that made Urban Meyer? And I know you don't got the answer. What happened after 9 months that made you feel like, oh shit, now we can hire him?
And then he comes out and says, "You guys have to trust me." And I'm like, Urban Meyer, you was at Ohio State and you was still
Urban Meyer.
You was still doing some dumb shit at Ohio State, and you was lying, and you was doing all types of crazy stuff. So, like, we should trust you now? What? Because you in the NFL, we should trust you with this hire? Like, get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Get out of here, man.
But he was fired, correct?
He wasn't fired. He wasn't fired. Chris Doyle resigned after 1 or 2 days being on the job.
Well, good job.
So
good job for being aware that we wasn't ready for you to be getting no jobs after you just got finished talking crazy 9 months ago, or being
But Urban Meyer need to get the smoke though, because he wasn't gonna fire him. It at least it appeared
you think he
that
wouldn't
way.
have fired him? Right. I mean, after 1 or 2 days, you feel like Urban Meyer wouldn't have fired him. I'm just asking. I don't.
No. I take it back. You might be onto something. Maybe after a few more days of backlash, maybe Urban Meyer would have just went ahead and just did away with the firing. But
hey man, I tell you what, it's nice to know that if we protest enough, we can get some shit done. I mean,
and that's what I tweeted that same day that he resigned. I said, when you scream louder, you get results, and this is exactly what happened. Everyone screamed loud about this, and this is what happened.
Sometimes screaming works, man. Sometimes screaming works. Can I segue to off sports just for 1 second while we're talking about screaming loud and getting your results? I think it's very important to highlight that Dave Chappelle finally got paid by Comedy Central.
I saw that.
Congrats
to David Chappelle.
Yeah, he bitched about Netflix and HBO Max putting Chappelle's show on there, and he not even getting paid. He went on and boycotted, told us not to watch Dave Chappelle. They took it off of Netflix and HBO Max. I did. And they made it easier by taking it off of Netflix, but I did in fact stop watching Chappelle's show, and until I saw his Instagram post last Friday, and man, watching it was so much fulfilling, knowing that he got his just due for that. But congratulations to Dave Chappelle.
Congrats to Dave Chappelle, man.
For sure.
That's a legend in the game, man, and it took Netflix long enough to get to this point, but better late than never.
Well, it wasn't Netflix's fault. He told Netflix take it off. They took it off the next day, so Netflix didn't do nothing bad. It was Comedy Central paying him his money and giving him his rights to the show he created, and they did that. They paid him in the M's, and now we can all enjoy Chappelle's show on, and knowing that he was compensated for his work.
Still showing repeats on Comedy Central.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't watch Comedy Central no way, so.
Oh, okay. I don't think you watch cable really all that much anymore, period.
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, man, I don't really watch much TV. I mean, sports, I watch that. I mean, football. I mean, I know I recognize that now that it's hit me that the NFL season is over. I'm going to have to do something about these NBA games.
Yeah, NBA ticket. I don't know if you want to pay for that.
I mean, but 40 for the season ain't bad. So I don't know.
Yeah. You could do it that way. There's also other ways. I'll shoot you some text about that a little later. I don't want to, put that out there, but yeah. You I mean,
you kind of already did just saying that, but
it's okay. That's all right. I just ain't, it is what it is, man. But I guess we could talk about the basketball a little bit. But I did have a note that I wanted to bring up about Blake Griffin, right? I just got a simple question. Like, what is Blake Griffin at this point in his career?
That's a good fucking question, Trey. I ain't even gonna hold you, bro. That's a good fucking question.
Like, here's the reason I asked the question.
Okay.
So the Detroit Pistons, I don't know if you've heard, but
they're looking to trade him.
They're looking to trade him, but they've also said you're not going to play any games. Like I think they announced this 3 days ago. They're saying, look, you're not going to play any more games this season, and we all know what that's about. That's, like you just said, they're trying to trade the guy. I don't know the dude's numbers this season.
I know he got paid like a big dog when he came to Detroit.
Yeah, by the Clippers. He got paid by the Clippers, and then they traded that contract over with him to Detroit.
Right, okay. Well, he's getting paid like a big dog, and he ain't giving out big dog. He ain't doing nothing big dog. I think the Pistons hoped that he would like kind of carry this team. And I mean, nothing in his career speaks to him being able to carry a team.
Right.
So,
right.
What did you think was going to happen? Did you hope that because it was the Eastern Conference that maybe y'all can get something moving?
Revive the Pistons. Let's be real. You talk about
Blake
carry
Griffin,
the team, but revive the Pistons.
Yeah,
They've been bad. They've been bad for a while.
Yeah, and we talking about that like they didn't get like an 8th or 7th seed like 2 years ago, something like that.
2-3 years ago.
Yeah,
they were like the 7th seed, and I think they got bounced by the Bucks or something like that. But yeah,
but that was that was Stan Van Gundy, wasn't it? That was Stan Van Gundy era or
that
tenure.
Was Stan Van.
That was Stan Van Gundy.
Stan Van Gundy. Yeah,
they got rid of him.
They made the playoffs another year. They played Cleveland with LeBron. One year they were the 8th seed. And I remember this because I remember Reggie Jackson, who was on the team at the time, was complaining about not getting a call with like a minute or so left in the basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you and I talking about it, and we was like, dude, you're Reggie Jackson. You're not getting that call in Cleveland against the Cavs.
Yeah.
So that's how I remember that.
Yeah.
That they made the playoffs that one year.
Man, so the coach, who's the coach? Is it still
Dwayne Casey.
Dwayne, that's the name. I couldn't remember his name.
Yep.
So he's still there.
He's still there, yes.
And I get that it's not his fault. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they just not a good franchise right now.
Yeah.
But it's like,
yeah, I think the biggest mistake they did years ago, kind of going back to Chauncey and Rip and Wallace brothers and all that, was letting go of Joe Dumars, who used to, be the general manager there, and he was making some moves, during the, those years they had.
Why did they fire Stan Van Gundy? I can't remember. I guess it was a while ago. I can't remember.
I don't know.
2-3 years ago.
It was about 2-3 years ago, because didn't Dwayne Casey get that job right after he was let go by Toronto?
Toronto, yeah.
Like immediately? Yeah. So it was about a couple of years ago. But yeah, man, it's bad in Detroit. I think personally with Blake Griffin, that guy is a third option at best.
He's playing at a number one option. Like, I don't even know who the hell's on that team. Like,
because Drummond's not there anymore. Drummond's in Cleveland.
He's in Cleveland,
and they're doing the same. And they're doing the same thing to Drummond. They're telling Drummond, "Yo, you're not gonna play. We gonna think about trading you at some point."
They trying to get Drummond over to Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. I heard that, man. If
that would be
Drummond,
crazy.
If they get Drummond, like they probably gonna waltz through the East, man.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. We had this debate because we had this debate maybe a month and a half ago, and you were saying that you don't think they could beat the Lakers, and I'm trying to tell you, bro, the Nets beating the Lakers, bro.
I still don't think they beating the Lakers. Now, Anthony Davis, I guess he didn't rupture his Achilles, but like he aggravated more of it. So they're talking about 4 weeks before he can come back. I think some people had the opinion that he should just sit out the rest of the regular season and then come back for the playoffs. You don't want to mess with the Achilles. That could be a injury where if you rupture it, I mean, you're going for a year. So, so if they don't got Anthony Davis, I'm not sure the Lakers win the West if they don't get Anthony Davis back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and Stephen A mentioned it the other day. He said, look, off of this injury, the first thing I think about is the Brooklyn Nets winning the chip. Like it's a foregone conclusion. Now, I agree with him there. Like, if there's no Anthony Davis and the Lakers are in the finals, LeBron going to be playing 48 minutes a night trying to, will the team to a chip by himself again.
And it's too much. And that's too much.
Yeah, exactly.
What's Stephen A? Why is Stephen A apologizing to Damian Lillard? You know?
I don't know, and I did see a caption for that. I didn't bother to look to see what was going on there, but my guess is that it has something to do with Damian Lillard. Maybe people questioning his clutchness or something like that, which I think is crazy because Damian Lillard is clutch. He's proven.
I don't think Stephen A. saying. I don't know. I'll find out. I don't think that's what. I doubt that's what that's about. I doubt that's what that's about.
Right. We'll figure it out. We'll see. What you think about Bradley Beal, man? He's playing his ass off, and they just don't defend, man, as a unit.
And the team is trash. The team is trash, bro. Like it's no another way to slice it. We trash, bro.
Man, that's crazy, man. You got like a super, almost like a superstar and a half.
I mean, for me in the East, it's KD and it's Bradley Beal. That's what it is for me. And he on a losing ass team.
Yeah, but that's crazy though. And you got Russ with you. And y'all just as a team, y'all don't defend, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wish I don't. I wish I had a deep dive. I wish I had a deep dive for you, man. I just don't, man. Like, we trash. It's like not even like I don't be wanting to watch games.
Mm-hmm. Do you appreciate the fact that
beat the Celtics
he came
Sunday?
Out and said that he still wants to stay in DC? Do you still appreciate that fact?
Sure, but I will. Let me reiterate: we beat the Celtics and the Rockets last night. Let me just reiterate those things.
Yeah, y'all had some good games the past few games.
But sure. I mean, sure, but he deserves better, and I don't think they're gonna give him better. So it's just that's what it is for me. It's like he deserves better, and he's just not getting it from the teammates, from the coaches. So it's just like I feel like if we figure out how to fucking play some defense, we'd be right here in the conversations with the other teams in the East. The mid-tier teams.
And the East is just like
wide the fuck open.
It's yeah. I mean, I'm talking from the 5th spot all the way down. It's completely wide open right now, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just was like, "Hey, Scotty Brooks, you got to go, man."
Nah, I think they'll let him play the year. I think they'll let him play the year, give him a chance to right the ship. Now, I will say that if he can't get this team to a respectable record, 9 seed, 8 seed by the end of the year, then he might be in some shit. Yeah. But I wouldn't be against firing them at this point. I wouldn't be against it. It's just like we need something right now.
Sure,
we need something.
Like if they did it tonight, you just be like, is what it is.
I mean, I think it'd be weird coming off of maybe the best 2-game win streak we've had all year.
Maybe the only 2-game win streak y'all had.
Facts. So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy,
but
man. Look, there's 2 slogans in DC sports right now. It's Snyder sell the team, and it's get Bradley Beal out of DC.
Yeah, I mean, he deserves better. I just wish we could give it to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but hey, I could appreciate the man's loyalty because for me, I'm looking at teams that need a guy like Bradley Beal. You know what I'm saying?
But then they got to pay him like a big dog because he's playing like a big dog. And he's been playing since he's gotten the contract and with the Wizards since they give him an extension. Yeah. He's been playing like a big dog.
Right. No, that's true. I'm thinking of a scenario, right? So let's say Anthony Davis's Achilles doesn't, fully, heal or, get back to normal at some point in the regular season going into the playoffs. You don't think LeBron could pull off the heist of the midseason and get Brad Beal out of DC?
LeBron James can do anything. LeBron James is the man in the NBA and really period. But
that man, he the commissioner, man.
Yeah,
he the commissioner, bro.
He like the mob boss that's inside. Like he the mob boss. Like he the nigga on top right now. So if anybody could do it, it's LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
So that just is what it. That's just going to be what that's over. That's always going to be what that is. You know what I'm saying? So until he decides he don't want to play no more, and really, after his career, he probably still going to be out there, whatever team he decides to give his expertise to, whether it be the Lakers or the Cavaliers or whoever. When he decides to say, "Ooh, I'm rocking with them," players gonna want to rock with him. So it just is what it is.
Yeah, right. So All-Star weekend next month, I think it is.
March 9th,
voting, right? I think March 9th. Okay.
I believe so.
So Thursday, I think, is when they do the final voting and all that. So
yeah.
What do you think about the East, man? Like in terms of like the All-Star roster?
Well, I don't know who leading what and who they got where. So if we're just doing are we doing a who we think is going to get it or who we want to be there?
We could say who we want to be there.
I'd rather do who we want to be there. Cause
that's cool.
And you know, but so here's my starters. Katie, obviously, Bradley Beal, Joel Embiid. I mean, I know how I feel about him, but I mean, it'd be foolish to overlook the stats this year. I want Trey Young to start, man. I don't know why. I do know why, because I like Trey Young, but I want Trey Young to start. And lastly,
I thought you were gonna say. Go ahead. I know you're gonna say.
Lastly, and leastly, because you can't ignore the stats, you can't ignore the regular season stats. But Giannis Antetokounmpo should start, even though I'm not feeling him, and I'm not going to be feeling him until he get a jump and learn how to get to the finals like he should have been for the past 2 years, maybe.
Amen.
And now he's not getting to the finals because the Nets are here now.
No, yeah, and probably could have went last year, but Jimmy Butler.
You shouldn't have lost to Jimmy Butler. I don't want to rehash this. You shouldn't have lost to Jimmy Butler, dog. And it makes me respect Jimmy Butler more. Let's be clear. But you shouldn't have lost to Jimmy Butler, Giannis. It's just you and Giannis Antetokounmpo. The league wanted to put. Oh, you remember? We was having this conversation. They was putting him everywhere. Like before he won his first MVP, he was already the MVP. Everything was Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like Bama was wondering, like they was talking about him like LeBron didn't exist no more. Like they was
the
hyping
nickname
him
and all that.
Yeah, like
the nickname and all that. And I'm not even gonna say the nickname. I'm just gonna say the nickname.
He is for as good as he's been in the regular season. His career so far has been an utter disappointment, and I can't call it. I can't give you no nickname, and the way you play in the playoffs, you got beat by Jimmy Butler, dog. And again, that's not to say Jimmy Butler trash, but Jimmy Butler is still, even after beating Giannis, it's not. They still not really putting him on that plateau, like for real. They still not giving him the love he deserved for job putting one of your greats in the dirt.
Yeah. Well, everybody's using the excuse, it's the bubble. It wasn't a real, playoff situation. There was no home crowd, and everybody's using that excuse.
I don't want to hear none of that shit because the year before that it was the Raptors, and I get it was Kawhi Leonard.
I was gonna say Kawhi.
Yeah, but if you the guy that was crowned by the NBA. Yeah, but I let that ride because Kawhi had that kind of year he had. I let it ride, cool. The next year was Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, man, they play some suffocating defense. I mean, I know you don't care about that.
I don't.
But man, that team was I mean, and it wasn't just the Bucks. They did that to everybody in the East. The Celtics. They was locking down dudes.
I don't remember verbatim, but I feel like Tatum did a better job than Giannis did.
I mean, they won an extra game in the conference finals. They won an extra game, but I mean,
but I'm really talking about. I'm just talking about the head-to-head.
Sure.
My star against your star.
Sure. But would you give Jason Tatum that same smoke, or you would let him off the hook?
No, because he wasn't crowned like Giannis was. Giannis is our MVP. Giannis was the guy that the NBA saw. Like, I'm keep it a buck. They was promoting like they was trying to rid LeBron James of his crown, get him off his crown, and give it to Giannis Antetokounmpo. And he shit the bed.
Yeah, ain't no doubt about that, man.
Yeah, the king is still the king, and you just Giannis Antetokounmpo. Respectfully, because we know what you do. We know you could play. We know that you getting by on sheer athleticism, but you getting your numbers in the regular season. So, I mean, you should. That's what you're doing. But, yeah, it matters in the playoffs, player.
Yeah. Nah, I hear you, man. I hear you. And speaking of that, we have the same starting five in the East. So yeah, Trey Young, Giannis, KD, Embiid, and missing one. Brad Beal. Yeah. So we agree there. I would, as far as like the rest of the East, I definitely think Jason Tatum. No. Jaylen Brown deserves to be there. Given his, he's upped his game this season from last year. I think he's averaging about 26 points a game this season. Jaylen Brown deserves to be in the All-Star game. I would also
I'll give you my list. Because I wrote it down. And let's be clear.
Because I ain't write mine down.
And Jaylen Brown is not on my supporting, my bench. Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum, Randle, from your boy Randle.
Yes sir.
Bam Adebayo, James Harden, Kyrie, Vujacic, and Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine averaging 28 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so all those,
that's better.
All those guys.
Yeah,
all those guys. I would. Yeah, I don't have a problem with any of those guys, but yeah.
I don't think Jaylen Brown beats Zach LaVine. I'm just,
No, I mean it's a snub. I mean it's a snub, and
sure,
anybody could take that for what it's worth, but
and Zach LaVine is more exciting in these types of games.
Yeah, good point. Because the Celtics right now, and the Celtics are underachieving this year, by the way. But and Brad Stevens needs to get some smoke headed his way at this point. But Jaylen Brown, I don't know, man. And I agree with you. He's not as exciting as Zach LaVine, but
I don't know that he's playing better.
Maybe. But I just admire the improvement.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying, from last year? I would put him in there. I would, and I'll be honest with you, and I know Kyrie is a stud, and he's exciting, but if they left him off the All-Star list,
for Jaylen Brown?
I wouldn't. No, not for Jaylen Brown. I'm just saying
just in general. In
general, if they left Kyrie off the list, I wouldn't throw my hands up.
Okay.
It's just because of the games he missed, early in the season and everything like that. I wouldn't throw my hands up.
The only if the only people that I would be upset with getting snubbed, is obviously KD, which we know he's not getting snubbed. Bill, we know who's not getting snubbed. But Zach LaVine, if Zach LaVine was snubbed, I'd have a problem. Zach LaVine, everybody else, whatever. I mean, and a lot of these guys we already know we know Harden's going to get there. We know. I mean, in some respects, we're confident that Tatum is going to get there. Bam Adebayo. I think we're confident that he'll get there without me looking at the list of who's leading what. It's certain people going to get there. I would like to think that Jimmy Butler is going to get there, even though he's having a quiet quiet regular season.
Yeah, he's missed some games though too.
Yeah.
And some of it's not his fault, but he's missed some games.
But you like to think if he can play, he'll play. They'll vote him in, I mean.
Right. Yeah, here's Jaylen Brown's numbers: 26 points a game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Those are his averages.
Mm-hmm.
I think the rebounds and assists are the same, from last year, but the points per game, that's up from about 20 points a game. So, that's the guy I would like to see, get that nod.
Mm-hmm.
Who would I take out of the list that you gave? Man, that's a tough one, bro. That's a tough one. I mean,
Randle. I'm just asking.
I mean, because it's like the same argument, right? Julius Randle, he upped his game from last year.
For certain.
You know what I'm saying? Certain. I mean, the guy is averaging 22, 11, and 5, I think. So, he's I mean, he dropped 44 the other night, man. Yeah, that's a tough one. Because what's the big man in Orlando? Vucevic. Vucevic. What's his number? What's his numbers looking like?
I think he averaged 23 and 10. I don't remember verbatim.
23, 11. Yeah, that's
okay.
That's hard to snub him if he's putting up those kind of numbers. Yeah, man, that's tough. That's tough. But I'm not taking my boy Randle out.
Okay,
I'm not doing that.
West.
The West. Obviously LeBron James. Steph Curry has to start for me.
Yep.
I'm gonna do something different here. No, I take that back. Damian Lillard should be starting. Let's be clear about that. Damian Lillard should be starting. He's averaging almost 30 points a game right now.
Okay.
So if we're talking backcourt, it's Steph, it's Damian Lillard. Front court, you're talking about LeBron James, Anthony Davis, but I think at this point, Anthony Davis is not going to start in the All-Star game at this point. So I'd probably go in the front court, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, and I guess I got to go Zion, man. I guess I got to go. I
got Zion there. By the way, I do have Zion there.
So that's my front. That's my front court right there.
This might be fan based. Right now. It might be Curry and Doncic is in my backcourt. They in my backcourt. Luka and Steph Curry is in my backcourt. Bron, obviously. I don't know. I got the Joker. Joker at center, Bron and Zion in the front court.
I forgot about the Joker.
I acknowledge that I'm leaving out Kawhi Leonard. And I'm not sorry for it.
You're not sorry for it.
I'm not sorry for it. Not because he hasn't produced. I mean, he's still Kawhi Leonard. He's still one of the top 10 players in the game. All those things are true. I don't got him I don't got him starting. Obviously, he's on the team, but
he's definitely on the team.
Yeah, for what I want to see. For what the type of all-star game that I want to see, Kawhi game it's dominant.
I was just gonna say Kawhi is not like I think Kawhi can give you a highlight or two, but he's not like the personality is just not there compared to the other guys.
In short, he's boring to me. Dominant, but he's boring to me.
Yeah, I think boring personality for certain.
I think his game is low key boring.
I think his game is a little more exciting than his personality.
For sure. I mean,
Yeah, and like I said, he give you a highlight or two every now
Yeah,
and then.
I mean, look. It seems like ever since that Toronto run, and I get that was 2 years ago, but it just, I don't know. It don't feel the same. Your starters. You gave me the starters. I'm sorry, my bench.
Yeah.
Booker, Kawhi, Anthony Davis, Christian Wood from the Rockets, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Paul George, and for shits and giggles, put my man Melo in there one more time.
I would love to see Melo in there.
Yeah, he probably
Just
don't deserve to be there
for the culture. For the culture,
exactly. But put my man's in there one more time, man.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he's still playing, and I know you when him and LeBron in the same draft, but for all intents and purposes, I don't think the NBA saw him being in this game no more, being in the league no more, and he's there. He's playing a role in the for the Portland Trailblazers, and for all intents and purposes, probably the second, maybe third option, but probably the third option
at best
third option,
because Gary Trent Jr. is a really good third option on that team right now.
Mm-hmm. But at best,
I would say at best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My reserve list for the West: Luka Doncic, the Joker, and by the way, the Joker's in my top 3 for MVP right now.
But you got him on the bench. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, when you mentioned his name, I was like, ooh, like this is tough. Like to put the West starters together is really tough this year. But yeah, I got him, Luka. I got Devin Booker on the bench. I got Donovan Mitchell, Brandon Ingram, who's having a pretty good year also.
Mm-hmm.
I would also put what's the kid name from Jamal Murray.
Okay.
Almost forgot his name. Jamal Murray. Yeah. That would be my reserves right there.
Okay.
But I got to admit, putting these lists together, it's really tough to not snub anybody. I mean, both East and West.
Of course.
I'm looking back at the East, and I forgot about Sabonis in Indiana, who's averaging 22, 23, and 11 right now. And they one of the top 4 teams in the East right now.
Yeah, but see, the thing for me always with All-Star games is and I get it's production and it's voted, but who do I want to see in the fourth quarter when they start playing serious? And that that's kind of how I base my starters. Like, what's going to be the most exciting competitive game when they start playing for real, and in the first quarter when they doing the highlights, when they just kind of doing whatever. And that's kind of how I base my base mines off of. You got.
I missed the last part of what you said there.
Okay, I was saying, I just saw it go out. It said, and I'm saying that I base my All-Star more so starters more than anything based on who I want to see in the beginning and who I want to see at the end. Yeah,
because you want to see some excitement in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
you want to see guys that could shoot. But I remember in the past, in previous All-Star games where you got centers trying to knock down threes and stuff like that,
Well, I tell you, Embiid and Joker do shoot threes, so
yeah. Embiid can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Embiid can do it too. You got like a top 3 for MVP right now up to this point in the season?
No, but if you pull in my arm, top 3.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it. but I know it's fandom shit. I know it's fan shit.
Get him out of DC.
I know saying Bradley Beal is fan shit, so I'm not going to say it.
Get him out of DC.
But KD,
put that man on a contender.
I got Steph Curry 1. I got KD 2. I got Bron 3.
Okay, that sounded real easy. That sounded real easy. I got a different.
I really wish I could say Bradley Beal though. I really wish I could say Bradley Beal.
How many wins they got? 6, 7?
6, 7, maybe.
Yeah, there's your MVP of the league.
Fuck it, Bradley Beal for MVP. Fuck it.
There's
number
your
one,
MVP.
Bradley Beal.
The bottom of the East.
Yeah, MVP.
Winning that MVP. Yeah. We the Wizards MVP, no doubt. But yeah, I got KD as my number one for MVP right now. And I know a lot of people are gonna put Joel Embiid as their number one.
I do not see it.
I got KD number one. I got Jokic number 2, and then I got Embiid number 3.
Okay, I ain't mad at that.
Yeah,
I ain't mad at that. Yeah, I mean, Embiid's got to be in the running, but yeah. I don't know if he's gonna hold on to it. I guess you got to base it off what he's doing right now, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Sixers at the top of the East right now.
Yeah,
and
right.
When Embiid Embiid has missed some games, maybe not a lot of games, but in the games that he's missed, like they just lose.
Yeah.
And when he's there in the lineup, like that dude, he balls, they win, and you know they doing what they doing right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's the East and
Doc
Rivers. Yeah.
Doc Rivers, yeah. Rivers doing his thing over there too. So yeah, I got to put Embiid at least in my top 3 for that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody's paying attention to Joker's numbers, but what, 26, 11, and 9?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
like
balling.
That's a big improvement from last year. big
balling.
Improvement.
He balling.
Yeah. Now the Nuggets, they struggled to start the season. They were off to a bad start, and then all of a sudden they got their act together, started winning some games and stuff. So they
how are the Raptors doing nowadays?
The Raptors are number 8, I think.
Okay,
they're number 8. I mean, I started to give you credit a while ago. I was like, you know what? You win. The Raptors ain't doing nothing this year, but that the bottom of the East is just to the point where it's like anybody.
I feel like that's where the Wizards. I feel like that's where the Wizards are letting me down the most.
Yeah, the fact that there's 3 teams above 500. There's 2 teams at 500 right now, and then everybody else is below 500. Yeah, the Knicks are 14 and 15 right now.
Yeah,
I think are the number 6 seed right now. So that's a good look, man. I've been watching a lot of games this year, man. This team's improved, man. The Thibodeau's got them playing good defense right now. Number 1 defense in the league. Our offense is terrible. I ain't gonna front there. Our offense is terrible. I think we're dead last in the league when it comes to that. But number 1 in defense, and we win the games. And I didn't get a chance to talk about Derrick Rose coming back to the Knicks. But I will say this in the words of Kendrick Lamar: loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. The man loves to play for Thibodeau.
I guess.
The man, he loves to play for Thibodeau. And I can't front either. He's played some good ball since coming back. Mm-hmm. Him and Emmanuel Quigley on the court at the same time is a pretty good pairing right now. And it's working out for us. So, man, when was the last time I could say the Knicks were 14 and 15?
I don't know. I don't know,
time,
bro.
Man. It's been a long time.
Hey, my headphones about to go out.
Your headphones about? Are you
I was
saying
trying
that because I'm talking about the Knicks or?
Nah, my headphones really about to go out.
Oh, okay.
I was out. Nah, my shit is at 10%. I was trying how this episode was going to work on my AirPods, and it's definitely more comfortable. But I realized I had them on all fucking day.
Well, we can wrap the episode up right now, man. We could cut
Bradley Beal for MVP,
and get Bradley Beal out of DC,
and still give him the MVP.
Get him on a contender, man. Put him in Milwaukee, man,
and still give him the MVP.
Give Giannis a closer, because that's what Giannis needs right now. He needs a closer.
Yeah, get the pressure off him.
And Drew Holiday is not the closer. Drew Holiday's playing some good basketball, by the way.
Yeah, for sure.
Milwaukee,
for sure.
So, I don't want to disrespect the man, but yeah, man. Shout out to everybody on Facebook Live. Shout out everybody on Twitch Live and YouTube Live. We appreciate everyone. Don't forget, folks, you can check this episode out on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. We got the Facebook page. Make sure you click the like button there. Also follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Also on Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel where we're trying to get some more content on there. You could, find us there weekly as well. And if you got questions, comments, or something, just hit us up on email at barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. So if you got nothing else, Maestro, I'm about to shut it down, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to holler. Y'all have a good week. We'll be back. Peace.